This is Unfiltered Vitamin Z being brought to you by Zaid. Thank y'all for tuning in. We got some things I wanted to discuss. Season 16, Episode 1. I wanted to talk a little bit about investments and money mentality real quick. And I ain't going to be talking about nothing that I'm not doing myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and generally, most things that like previously I would discuss on here that's not tangible like money, like let's say more philosophical or more like on a personality like growth basis. I was talking about consistency, for example, but I was talking about like real struggles with that. Anything that I'm talking about it because I'm going through it too. So this is certain things I wanted to share to somebody maybe same path as me, maybe somebody way ahead of me, good for you, or somebody that like is a bit unclear on these terms. I just want to share certain things that I've learned in terms of investments and just a money mentality. And I think the first thing I want to start this off with is like, this is the headphone and this is the microphone. Okay, we need this not to move. We need this. Fuck, what did it just move again? Okay, let me skip this ad. And they can have the camera shaking too. Damn. Yeah, so only certain things that my family and I have done that should help benefit every family. Because here's the idea. I read this quote the other day, and it says that poor people spend money, middle class save, but the rich invest. And the younger you are and the earlier you do it, the better you set yourself in a position. So investment comes in. Is this even? Is this even? Okay. So the first thing was I started with the app called Webull. Let me pull that up. Webull was an app for stocks, and actually when you signed up with them and put in like your first $50, I think they give you 2 free stocks. So yeah, you have like a little like a watch list type of thing, and you get to scroll and like look at your shit, and you transfer money from your bank account to the app, and then from there you get the option to buy your stocks. I use that, which Warren Buffett, is that his name? Yeah. What he suggested to do was buy things and products you already use. And Ashton Kutcher said the same thing. And he might be an actor, like for a lot of y'all, but he's actually way better as an investor and a tech person. He's a very smart person, but he's like an actor. And one of the things he said, for example, was let's say you were a stalker at like a grocery store. Look at the products that are flying off the shelf. Look at what you're constantly stocking. Look at these brands. Look at these companies. Study these products and invest in them. And so that's what I started doing was look at shit that I own. Like, why are you gonna buy Apple products if we don't own Apple stock? Why are you gonna buy a pair of Nike shoes if we don't own Nike stock? And the thing is, something that I learned also with crypto, you don't need to have, let's say $100. Let's say the stock of Apple is $160. You don't need $160 to buy one share. If you have $20, you can buy part of a share and put in this, you can put in that $20. So every extra 50 you have, you can put towards that. And so you get one whole share. So that's the great thing about this app is like, let's say I got like 50 extra bucks. I go on here on the Webull app and I'll put like, I want a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I bought things that I use. I looked at around and it's like, okay, let me buy this, let me buy that. Just regular companies and products that I'm already using. I always had Toyota cars, so I bought Toyota stock. And then I started to do more research and let's say like, for example, like a company like Lucid, they really want to compete against Tesla. And them and Rivian is another electric vehicle company also, and it looks very promising. So I bought a couple stocks of theirs and just hold on to it and see what happens. And again, most of these things are like more on a long-term basis. I think, yeah, like Warren Buffett always values the idea of holding something like super long-term of like for years and such, because you want to look at things. Not anything that's in a short-term gain is going to carry more risk, but the earlier you start, the longer you plan on holding these assets, holding these things, the better it is for you in the long run. Excuse me. Let me go back to my notes. So Webull, that's one app I suggest to get started with, just like basic things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no like stock expert. I'm only sharing like what I know and what I do, because if you always going to be setting money aside to like in a savings where that money never works, so with like inflation and shit, your money can be worth nothing. So it's great to use money to get other things that are worth more than money. And the other investment, is it shaking? No, is crypto. So with crypto, the thing is like
left light, sitting on the corner, was dying of boredom. Left light.
Okay, the other one is like this with crypto. So before I was always skeptical, because it's like a lot of hype about it. Anything with hype, I'm usually like, I don't like getting into. And just because there's always so much noise, and it's better just to wait till the noise, quiets down a bit. And with crypto, when I started to understand it more on a political level, not a financial level, it made more sense to me. The idea of somebody looking at like the recession, somebody looking at banks and governments and looking at these like motherfuckers and thinking, you know what, fuck them, find something, create something decentralized that goes peer to peer, that's, it's on a blockchain. It's like almost like it's public domain. And it's not gonna rely, because what is money is the idea, right? That's the trouble what people have with this. It's like, well, the dollar bill in your pocket at one point was a foreign idea. Before, people only bartered for goods. You had a couple pineapples, had a couple coconuts, and we switched. But the idea of taking like copper coins and silver coins and shit like that and using it to say, well, one silver coin is equal to 3 loaves of bread. 2 copper coins gets you, a couple eggs, shit like that. That was all foreign and new, and we've been sort of on that system for a very long time. So the idea of something like crypto, what it does to like the worth of our dollar, of our euro, of our pound, and shit like that. I mean, something could happen to a government or to that money. It could be worth nothing. Like, look at Venezuela. You could be a millionaire in Venezuela, millionaire, only because of the hyperinflation that it has. So with something like crypto, it's just a different form of currency. So think about it on a political level. That's like, it's a big fuck you card. And think about it in the future when like money and currency, on the idea of we know it backed by, it's not our dollar, it's not really backed by gold, the Federal Reserve. It's not, it can't be. There's not even that much fucking gold for it to be backed by that. So those things could be toppled and could change like that. That's why having money, have a bunch of money in the bank doesn't really do much. It's not really a good thing to have. You need to have a diversified portfolio. You need to have your eggs spread across. You need to have some stocks. You need to have some crypto, gold, like on like a little bit of a tangible thing. But land, like Snoop Dogg says. Snoop Dogg once said, if you don't own land, you don't really own anything. So real estate comes back into the other investment. That's the last one. That obviously each one has different levels. Like having $100 in stocks is not the same thing as having 100,000. Having $1,000 in crypto is not the same as having 50,000. So obviously, little by little, you constantly buying a little bit of something. You're doing your research. When in terms of crypto, I bought Ethereum. It looks like the best coin out there. It looks like a long-term basis thing. There's so many things you could do on it. A lot of tokens, a lot of coins. Other cryptos are on the Ethereum blockchain, so that's really great about it. And the way I was told from a friend, and it was a couple actually, one of them is like a financial advisor, they kind of do these things. The way I was told when it came to Ethereum was that there was a video of that guy that created Ethereum, really young dude too, and he was basically comparing a pocket calculator and a smartphone. So you know how your smartphone says like the earliest iPhones, they have like the calculator app within them. He was basically comparing Bitcoin and Ethereum on that same scale. Like Bitcoin was the pocket calculator and Ethereum was the smartphone. And that smartphone, Ethereum, had that pocket calculator within it. So that made a lot of sense to me. And I was like, okay, so bought a little bit of Bitcoin, bought a little bit of Ethereum. There's another one called Mana, M-A-N-A. I think it's called Decentraland. And that one was recommended by Join from Group 82 Music because he had heard that in the metaverse conversation, this is a token that people can use for a lot of digital real estate and metaverse things. It's like a currency token. So that's why I bought that one a little bit too. And yeah, little by little, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of what they call like meme coins, like the Elon Musk, like Dogecoin and shit like that. That's not necessarily like a long-term investment as it is with something like Ethereum, something like Mana. So it's better to always do your own research, do what you're comfortable with. I'm just sharing what I've done with my own money, but you, of course, are always free to do what you want with your money. In terms of back to the stock thing, Acorns is a great app I use because you can put in your extra change and have like your own little portfolio. You can do your checking account with them. I got a debit card with them recently. Even though debit is not best to use, it should be smart with credit and you get rewards with credit. And as long as you're responsible enough to always be on time with your shit and pay your bills and everything, then use credit, but you're not getting no money back with debit. So it's best to use something like credit. But just to have another account and to another place to store a little bit of money, I got a checking account with them. You can even do your IRA. Your Roth or traditional IRA with them too, and your investment. So you can give them the type of portfolio you're looking for. And then they'll give you like a scale depending on how much you decide to save away a week with them. Let's say $10, $20, $100, and the extra change you do from your purchases. And then what type of account you want: a conservative, moderately conservative. How risky you want your thing to look like. I can give you like a little chart and it'll tell you at 60 or 50 or 40 years old how much money you would have invested with them and then how much money you possibly might make and how much you could take out. So that's a great option too, because if you put in your money, again, putting your money in your savings at a bank account, that bank ain't doing nothing for your savings. Versus this, it could be grown. And if you need to like get access to it, you can, and you only pay taxes on the money that you make. So if you put in $100 and over 2 years, you know, that turns into like, let's say 220, you're only paying like $120 profit. So that's another good option too, is to use like an Acorns type situation. Robinhood, I think, is another similar app as well, but I've never used it personally, so I don't know about it. But you know, again, pay yourself first. Like Warren Buffett says, pay yourself first when you get your paycheck and shit like that. Pay yourself first. Take that saving. You have to be able to save. You got to spend, right? Because you got bills to pay and shit. And then after that, you got to invest and you got to donate too. I think we always forget about the investment and the donation aspect. People want to save and spend, but they don't want, and some people don't even save, they're just constantly spending. But some of the most richest and most, I want to say, blessed people I know in terms of financially speaking, a lot of times are the biggest givers also. And I think a lot of times in life we forget that sometimes what we want most is the shit we have to give out the most. What we want to receive, we have to give. And it's like, you want love, you want good vibes, you want positive energy, you gotta give out that shit. Sometimes the people I know that receive the most of that are the biggest givers of it in the first place. So whatever you want, be that person and give it out first, and watch that shit come back and return to you. So I think money works in a similar way, where if you do give and you do shit and you do care, that shit is gonna come back. And savings, cost of living, yeah, it's always a matter of not necessarily how much you make, but how much you keep. For example, a lot of people that make 6 figures in the US are spending damn near most of the salary. You make 100,000, you spend 90 a year. Versus somebody that say like makes 25 somewhere but only spends 1,200, he's keeping 10 in his pocket every year. You know what I'm saying? So it's about what you keep, not how much you make, because you get so accustomed to the habit of once you start making 40, 50,000, that you are, let's say, driving a Honda, you're living in a studio apartment, and when you're making 6 figures, you're driving a BMW Mercedes, you're living in a big house, big mortgage, big car payment, more insurance, more in utilities, more in bills. You're not wearing the same clothes no more, you're not shopping at Ross, you're shopping very fancy names, you're not eating at IHOP anymore, you're getting brunch at fancy places, paying $12 for avocado toast and shit. So you are making more money, and you're constantly, every habit, every aspect of your life, you're increasing too. Whereas if you get accustomed to living on a certain salary and make side hustles and make money coming from different places, then you can just keep exactly what you have. Live on a certain accustomed lifestyle, because shit goes up and down in waves. You know what I'm saying? You might get fired, this might happen. That's like a lot of trouble issues. And when you get accustomed to living off, I know I need 30,000 to live. I know me and my family need this and this and this amount, and you can live it and be comfortable within that, and everything extra, again, you save it, you invest it, and you donate it, and you move on with that money and try to grow with it. So yeah, overall management, Acorns, Coinbase. I use Coinbase for crypto. It's easy to set up with them. It's a big platform to buy too. It's very, and you get a ledger too. So the thing with crypto, actually, if you're worried about security and shit like that and you buy a certain amount, you can put it on a ledger. Okay, I thought I was gonna burp. Ledger, I think, is the name of the company, but what it's called is like a hard wallet. It's called cold storage. So it's offline. Once you have, that has like a little code, and your account on Coinbase has a code, and there's like a send receive option, and all you do is put in the code of your ledger. You have to be very careful, very accurate, because one number off and it could send that crypto to somebody random in Russia or somewhere, and there's no way of getting that crypto back. So you get your ledger, Nano S, Nano X, I think one of them, there's 2 different versions that you can get, and it's like $60. And you take it from your Coinbase account, you put it on that, and that's it. No one can touch it, no one can get access to it. You get like a little code that goes along with it. Don't lose it though, because they don't even give it back to you. And yeah, if you ever lose that ledger, you have like an access code, like a 24-word type of sequence that you can give to them so you can get back access to it. So that's a great way to keep cold storage, you know, it's offline. No one can like hack into it or something unless they steal physically your ledger. And yeah, the same thing with this music thing. It's like, I'm not trying to necessarily create rap music to become the most famous person in the world, but if I can do something I'm passionate about and I love and increase with it, and in return it creates a catalog that can produce, let's say, 500, 1,000, 1,500 people that stream it constantly, and that makes me an extra 10, 20,000 a year, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? That's an extra source of revenue, that's an extra source of income. And most millionaires have like 6, 7, I think the average is like 7 streams of income. Because if you have one, well, one is very close to 0. You know what I'm saying? Anything could happen if you have one source of income. Anything could happen today, and boom, you're back down to zero. But if you got 7, something else happens, you maneuver and you keep on going. Especially if you're already, again, like I said, accustomed to a certain lifestyle, and you know where your expenses are. And when something does shift in your income or something like that, it's not like you can't afford your bills or nothing like that. So for me, I see music also like as that like type of investment, especially when we're talking about something as powerful as hip hop. I think it's a beautiful thing universally, and I really do hope to continue with it and carry out with it. And it's something I learned like from Russ is building a catalog. He built up a huge catalog. He had like 11 projects out and still like 500 fans. Like me, like I'm at 6 projects in, but I don't even have like 400 followers on social media accounts. And he was at 11 with like 500, and then spent like almost another 2 years of putting singles out. And little by little, he was increasing, getting streams, getting people listening to his music. And he was just constantly putting out a song every single week. And then he had like a project ready, waiting for that first little blow up, that first little spike, and then releasing that project right away. Because he said, when you constantly feed him music, no person that we're a fan of musically, right? Let's say you love Drake, you love Adele, Lady Gaga, whatever, your favorite artist, you're not disappointed when they release more music. You get excited when your favorite artist release more music. So that's his like game plan, and I like that. That's what I'm trying to do, is to gain my experience, gain my technical ability, my music making ability, my rapping ability, songwriting, all these different aspects that comes from making a shit ton of music. You gotta get a lot of the bullshit out of the way to start getting to the good shit. And that's what I'm like trying to do. And building that catalog up then allows like a platform when you search somebody or you do come across one of my songs and you go into my catalog like, oh, he's got a lot of work out, all right, fucking cool. Because he said you get excited when you search somebody up, like you heard a great song from them, and then when you find them, you find a lot of music that you can dive into, and you can find 3, 4, 5 songs that you really fuck with from that person. Ooh, this is what I want to talk about. Adele 30. The title, why 30? I remember when she did the carpool karaoke with that British comedian James Corden, I think his name is. She was like, yeah, I'm not doing, that was after 25 came out. She's like, yeah, I'm not doing the age thing no more. I believe in trilogies. And James was like so disappointed. He's like, no, I thought we were still gonna be like Jim to like Adele 84 or some shit like that, he said. And then she sold out. She put out Adele 30. I was like, oh, what the fuck? It's still dope though. I listened to it the other day. Granted, I did fall asleep the second run of it, but it was like in the background. I was like, whoa, this shit's fucking cool. I gotta re-listen to it though. I think it's definitely the best work, the best she's put out. I want to hear her. I wrote this as soon as I heard it. I was like, I know I'm gonna share this on the podcast. I said, I want her to sing dumb stuff, like grocery lists, like her just be like singing like random objects and random things. Since the microphone? No, I just want to get this out. The hell? Yeah, sing dumb stuff like grocery list items. Like, you know, she'd just be like chilling, just be like, I gotta go shopping, get Snickers, Skittles, broccoli, spinach. You know what I mean? Like dumb shit like that. Like I could just see her sing like basic journal thoughts. You know what I mean? Like, I went on a run today. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Investments and money mentality. Just shifting the way you look at things and shifting the way that you are perceiving things. It's not just about, oh, let me like have cool shit. And again, if you can keep more of your money and then put that money to work, because if you don't put money to work, like Warren Buffett said, if you don't put it to work, you are gonna be constantly working for that money. And if you're constantly chasing something, working behind something, you are attached to that thing. That thing owns you. But when you control that money, you know, it's like the saying goes, I think a French philosopher said this, money is a great, it's a great slave. When you put money to work, it's a great worker, it's a great slave, but it's a terrible master. When it has control over you, it fucks you up. But when you put it to work, it does wonders for you. So, and money attracts money, money no money. So the second you start putting yourself like the other day, I like made $12 off that Lucid stock, and like one day I got so fucking excited. I was like, wow, I just made $12. Like, I don't have it physically in my pocket, but it's like, it's there. You know what I'm saying? It's just the mentality, and it's just the game, the long-term journey that you're playing by starting young and early. That's what I did, and I encourage a lot of you to do it. And I always feel like this is easiest to do when you do it with your family. Like, have a conversation with your family, and you and your friends should not just be a group of friends that only get together to spend money. You and your friends should be a group together that can get together and spit ideas and put money together and build together. That's what y'all should be doing. Not necessarily just going out and blowing shit away, but looking at like, you got 500, you got 1,000, you got this, you got this, you got that. You know, if we all put that together, we could buy this and sell this. and then we could split this and then make this much return on our original investment. That's the type of mentality we should have with our closest people and friends and families, looking at what we can create and build together, not just what we can spend and destroy together. You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much for tuning in, and I appreciate y'all for listening. Check out Zaid.com, stream my music. I really appreciate that. Zaid UFZ on Instagram. Search Zaid on Tidal. Tidal is free right now. The most basic version is free, and they pay more for the artist on every stream. 1 million streams on Spotify gets you like $4,000, but 1 million streams on Tidal is like 12 or 13,000. Excuse me. So go stream my music on Tidal. It's free. Why the fuck you gonna use Spotify and Apple for $5-10 a month? But if you go to studio, you get the $5 off. When you can just use Tidal with limited ad interruptions. And yeah, shit. And Tidal, the only one that's black owned too. Think about that. That's Jay-Z shit right there. So yeah, stream my shit on Tidal, Zaid. The last project, Dictatorship Volume 2, and Flaquito Palestino is coming out soon. Then after that, early into next year, Filter Vitamin Z as a project gonna be coming out too. That one is gonna have a pre-save campaign. I'm already telling you right now, it's gonna have a pre-save campaign. If you buy it for $8, I'm gonna sell it to you for $7.99. You buy it for $8 off iTunes or off my website, whatever, and I'm gonna gift you when I'm gonna have getting CBD products that's coming soon to my store on Zaid.com. When I got CBD products, I'm gonna give you some great CBD oil and pain CBD cream. Painless, sorry, that's the whole idea. Not to give you pain, but to take away pain, help you with the pain. So yeah, be on the lookout for that shit. And what else was I gonna say? Yeah, comment, like, subscribe, all that good shit, you know what I'm saying? And got any questions or like shit like that you want to share or whatever, like DM me on Zaid UFZ, always down for conversation, you know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to say hello. And thank you, appreciate it, have a good one, bye-bye.
This that UFZ flow, yeah. This that UFZ flow, this that UFZ flow. What ain't